So today I'm going to be talking about a welterweight championship fight happening this Saturday with Islam Makhachev versus JDM or Jack Della Maddalena. And I'm going to give my fight breakdown and prediction in this video. So there's a common old saying in fighting, you're only as good as your last fight. So let's have a little look at these fighters' past fights or most recent fights and see what the outcome was. So Makhachev's last fight was a submission round 1 win at 4 minutes 5 seconds into the round against Renato Moisano, wherein he showed superior dominant wrestling and submission offense. Then we'll go to Jack Della Maddalena. I'm going to call him JDM because if I called him Jack Della Maddalena throughout the entirety of this video, I think my tongue's going to fall off. So JDM's last fight was a decision win against Belal Muhammad, wherein he showed great striking and takedown defense throughout the 5 rounds. So let's look at the stats between these two fighters, shall we? So Islam Makhachev is 5 foot 10 inches tall or 178 centimeters in the metric system. He walks around at 190 pounds, right? So he's been fighting at lightweight. So he's been cutting down from 190 to 155 pounds, but this time he's going in at 170, and him walking around being 190 pounds. Welterweight is a much more natural weight class for Islam. He has a record of 27 wins, 1 loss and 0 draws. He has a 96% win-loss ratio. 19% of his wins are by KO or TKO, and 48% are by submission, and 33% are by decision. He has a reach of over 70 inches or 178 centimeters. Islam Makhachev's primary strengths are elite Dagestani wrestling and top control. Secondary strengths, submission grappling and sambo-based transitions. His developing strengths, he's been developing clean, calculated striking with KO power and excellent timing. He knocked out Volkanovski in their rematch. He had competitive striking with Dustin Poirier and many others in the lightweight division. And his normal game plan that he likes to go with is mix striking and grappling seamlessly. Wear his opponents down, dominate positionally, and look for the submission finish when the opportunity arises. Now let's talk about JDM. He is 5 foot 11 inches tall, so he has a 1 inch height advantage against Islam Makhachev, which, isn't a big deal, but it's still an advantage. His reach is 73 inches, so he also has a 3-inch reach advantage. And as he is a striker, this is definitely going to help him. He has a professional record of 18 wins, 2 losses and 0 draws, with a 90% win-loss ratio, 67% KO/TKO wins, 11% submission and 22% decision wins. His primary strength is elite level boxing and striking pressure from both stances, orthodox and southpaw. His secondary skills, solid takedown defense and competent BJJ fundamentals, which he showed in his recent fight against Belal Muhammad. And his typical game plan that he likes to go by is he likes to keep it standing, use pressure and volume and break opponents down with precise boxing and bodywork, staying on the outside, because he has quite a long reach. Now let's talk about the potential game plan that they should follow if either fighter wants to win this fight. So let's start with JDM, shall we? So if he's going to win, he will need to take advantage of his extra reach and stay on the outside on the feet. In my opinion, he needs to throw lots of jabs, use uppercuts to potentially catch Makhachev when he's going in for takedowns. And if Islam does somehow manage to try and take him down or get a hold of him, he will need to use his high takedown defense in order to stop the takedown. Because if he does get taken down, it's going to be a problem. Definitely, he needs to avoid going to the ground in this fight. I'm not saying that JDM isn't good on the ground whatsoever, but Islam Makhachev is a different beast when it comes to wrestling and jiu-jitsu. He is a Dagestani wrestler, and they are all very dominant. I mean, just look at Khabib Nurmagomedov and see on the run that he went on, the dominant pressure and control that he was able to put on his opponents in his fights. And Islam Makhachev is very, very similar. I would argue that Islam Makhachev has got better striking and a better overall game than Khabib Nurmagomedov. He will definitely need to take advantage of his reach advantage, which he will anyway. He likes to stay on the outside when he is striking. Because of his long limbs, he's able to pop people with jabs, with straights. He's got very good boxing head movement as well, so it allows him to, duck out shots and that sort of thing. And I do think if JDM can keep this fight standing, he will win this fight. He is the superior boxer, superior kickboxer. He's got great leg kicks, great jabs, great hooks, great boxing in general. Even good uppercuts, good knees. If he stays on the feet, I think that JDM is going to win this fight. However, he is going against Islam Makhachev, who is a top-level Dagestani wrestler. And Dagestani wrestlers, the pressure that they can put on you is absolutely astronomical. astronomical. Now let's talk about Makhachev, the game plan which I think he should follow if he's going to win this fight. So he will need to get a lot closer to JDM, seeing as he has a 3-inch reach disadvantage, and he will need to get closer anyway in order to grab a hold of him to take him down. So in my opinion, he needs to get on the inside of JDM, use clinch work and mix up the striking and wrestling, which he does in all of his fights anyway. He'll need to fake takedowns so then he can get JDM worrying about the takedowns in the ground game. And then this happens a lot with wrestlers and strikers in an MMA fight. If there's a wrestler and a striker going against each other, the wrestler always has the advantage because the striker is so worried about being taken down, and on their mind they're just constantly thinking, am I going to get taken down? And subconsciously that can really affect someone's striking performance, because if you're worried about getting taken down, you're going to be less willing to exchange on the feet and throw more combinations and throw yourself off balance, because if you do lose balance, you're open to being taken down. And this happens in a lot of wrestler versus striker fights. You only got to look at Khabib Nurmagomedov versus Conor McGregor. Conor McGregor was one of the best, if not the best, strikers in the lightweight division. And Khabib, because there was the threat of the takedown, he was able to distract Conor McGregor with the worry of the takedown, which then led to Khabib landing a really hard punch on Conor McGregor, which I don't think otherwise would have landed if the takedown threat wasn't there. And this gives Islam Makhachev the opportunity, as JDM is worrying about being taken down, to throw combinations and to actually hurt JDM. He can throw some power shots and potentially, Islam Makhachev is going up a weight class, so he's going to have a little bit more power in his punches. He hasn't been cutting weight as much as he was in the lightweight division, so he definitely has the potential to knock out JDM. He knocked out Alexander Volkanovski. He had competitive striking against Dustin Poirier. Every opponent that he's faced, apart from the one where he got knocked out early in his career, he has shown very, very good striking, especially for someone that's come from Dagestan, because they're mainly wrestling. Wrestling is their bread and butter. And of course, if it goes to the ground, he will submit him pretty quickly, in my opinion. JDM looked quite good against Belal Muhammad on the ground when he got taken down. He had great submission defense. He was able to control him from the ground. He had great bottom game, but Islam Makhachev is a different beast to Belal Muhammad, in my opinion. He is levels above Belal Muhammad, in my opinion. So this is going to be a very difficult fight for JDM. And to be honest, I want JDM to win this fight. I think, he's a ginger. I'm a ginger as well. I've got to stick up for him, mate. So let's talk about who is more likely to win this fight if they implement their game plan. In my opinion, Islam Makhachev will probably end up winning this fight. And as much as I want JDM to win, I've got to be truthful. I've got to be realistic. I think that Islam Makhachev's wrestling and jiu-jitsu and overall just MMA game is very, very powerful. And it would take a lot for JDM to win this fight. He would have to be perfect. He would have to survive. He would have to stuff every single takedown. You have to stay on the outside and pop him with shots and not let Islam's threat of taking you down affect his own striking, which is very, very difficult. It is a lot easier said than done. And of course, if Islam Makhachev wins this fight, he will be a 2-weight division champion, which is a very, very impressive and rare thing to do in the UFC or any combat sport. If you move up to a weight class higher up, it is very, very difficult. It's very different. And I would imagine JDM walks around at the same as Islam Makhachev. He probably will walk around at 190-ish, 180, 190, maybe 200 at a push. And Islam before now has been fighting lightweights who've probably been walking around about 170, 180 at a push. So he's now fighting someone that is technically 10 to 20 pounds heavier than his previous opponents. But I think if anyone is going to become a 2-division champion, it is going to be Islam Makhachev. The amount of dominance and control he has shown in the lightweight division. And he's a Dagestani wrestler. If anyone's going to do it, it's going to be Islam Makhachev. And to be honest, as much as I want JDM to win, I think Islam Makhachev will win this fight and become the 2-division welterweight champion of the UFC. If I had to put a round on it, I think he would get a submission win, and I think he'll probably get it in either round 2 or 3. But if the fight goes any longer than round 2 or 3, I can see JDM outpointing him and taking the decision. I can't really see Islam Makhachev being able to submit him later on in the fight. I don't think that's his style. Although he did do that against Dustin Poirier, I will stand corrected. But I think if the most likely outcome is Islam Makhachev will probably get the submission win in rounds 2 or 3. So that is my final prediction for this fight. Let me know in the comment section down down below who you think's going to win this fight. And obviously after the fight, I will be making a reaction video to whoever won. Yeah, I am looking forward to this fight. It's a very good fight. It's been a while since the UFC has had a really good opportunity for a fighter to become a 2-division champion. I'm excited to see if Islam can pull it off. If anyone can pull it off, it's going to be Islam Makhachev. Let me know in the comment section down below if you agree with my take or if you have a different take. I'm more than open to reading your comments, whether they agree with me or not. If you like this video, don't forget to leave a like. Don't forget to subscribe and turn the bell notifications on so you get notified every single time I post a new video. And I will see you guys in the next one.